Um, just so you guys know I'm recording now, so don't be on your best behavior.
You ready? Okay, I'm going to share my screen, y'all, so you can see my presentation. Let's see. Okay, so you should be able to see this. I'm going to go ahead and start it, and it might cut off a tiny bit on the side, but just holler if anything's missing that you want me to go over. And Megan did a great job introducing me, and I just wanted to give you guys just a tiny little bit of background. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but I've been a coach since August of 2013. I really signed up on like July 31st. That was probably one of my coach's like final Success Club points of the month. But I had been doing Chalene Extreme for actually like almost a year before I signed up as a coach. I lost 30 pounds with it. I have hypothyroidism, and I'm also a lifetime hypoglycemic, so I've struggled with that my whole life. And I went vegan because I just didn't understand what was going on with my body before I started Chalene Extreme. I literally put on like 30 pounds in like 3 months, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I cut food out and everything just to be, and I'm still vegan. But I did Chalene Extreme, lost 30 pounds, loved Janelle Summers, like we had an obsession with Janelle Summers. And I didn't even know about the coaching opportunity until I started following Janelle on social media. And I really loved her, but I decided to sign up on a different coach, partly because I just wanted to be with someone who wasn't part of the Beachbody like corporate family. I felt like it was important to be with someone who was sort of a self-starter. Nothing against Janelle. But I signed up to become a coach in August 2013. And at first I was kind of like, I just really wanted to replace a $500 income. I was a full-time English teacher, high school, AP language, AP lit, all seniors, so freshmen and sophomores all over the place. But I also had an adjunct position as a instructor at the local community college. And I actually lost that job one semester. We just didn't have the enrollment. So it was like $500 a month. And that was what really prompted me to become a coach. I ride competitive dressage and I love it. And I didn't want to give it up. So I was like, what can I do to make the extra money? And I became a coach for that reason. And I just, from there, it just blossomed. Like I really thought this would be like a $500 to $1,000 a month extra income thing, but I would still be a teacher for about the first 3 or 4 months. And then I started to see the real possibilities with this business. And I just was like, I'm doing this 100%. And I want to say that's probably one of my biggest tips for you. If this is going to be something that you want to make full time, make that decision. Just say to yourself, I'm doing this full time. I'm going to do this. I'm going to set this goal, figure out what the income needs to be monthly for you to do that, and start working towards it, because that's how you'll get there. Like if you're kind of half in, half out with your decisions, and you don't have to tell the world, you just keep it private. But if you're half in, half out, you're gonna see those results. Your business is gonna grow slower. Say you're all in your mind, go for it, and that things will happen quicker. A lot of people don't know, I have an identical twin who is also a teacher, and she's actually one of my diamond coaches, but I built her there because like Megan said, placement. And I lost one diamond that was on my left side. I built to 2-star earlier this year, and then she quit, which was devastating for my business. And for me, honestly, it was very hard to get over that. Because I really thought this girl was going to be with me forever as a coach, and she wasn't. So another tip, do not quit. Do not be disheartened if people quit on you. Keep going. It's just part of the process. But I didn't have a diamond on the other side, and I started building more and more and more on my weak leg. And I couldn't get above 1-star because I didn't have a diamond on the other side. So I finally built my sister, because I was like, screw this. I'm not dealing with being a 1-star for the rest of my life. So I built my sister. I'm married to my college sweetheart, Sean, who's amazing. He's a landscape architect, so we have a beautiful yard. And he works really, really hard. And so my next goal now that I've retired myself is to bring him home, because he works literally 12, 14-hour days, and it's just crazy. So I wanted to do this presentation for you guys. I've done it for my team, and some of it's going to probably be a little bit of maybe repetition from what you've heard from Megan before, but some of it hopefully won't, and it'll be illustrated a little differently. I love to hear this stuff from different teams, because I feel like different teams do things differently. So this was actually something that was posted in one of our groups, and it was kind of like It was a tough love leadership post from one of our really, really awesome top 10 coaches. And I turned it around into a presentation for my team because I wanted it to be more of like what you should do to hit Success Club instead of what you aren't doing to hit it, what's not happening. So these are the keys. The number one, and you guys have probably heard this a million times, she just said the word consistency. But it really is the case. For me, I had to be super consistent with coaching when I was working full time. I would wake up at 5 a.m. I did not do 5 a.m. workouts. I am not that person. But I would get up, get ready for work, and I would always listen to personal development, like videos, like really pump up videos, nothing like educational, but videos that would like get me moving, motivational videos in the morning while I was doing my makeup and my hair and stuff for work. Because I needed that every morning to just fill me with belief that this is possible and this business is going to be getting me out of this 5 a.m. routine. So I did that every single morning. And then I would post on my Facebook something. I really would go to Pinterest and find a motivational quote that looked cute, that spoke to me at that moment. And I would post that on my Facebook wall first thing before I left for work every day. That was my routine for work. And then I would go through the day, partway through, and at lunchtime I would post another something. In that lunchtime one, I tried to make it something personal about myself. So it could just be, something like what I was wearing that day or what was going on at school that day or something just about me. So the first 2 posts of every day were not anything about Beachbody. And then I would usually try to post again in the afternoon after school got out. I didn't deal with the business really as much as I tried not to. Sometimes I would answer messages if I absolutely felt like it was critically necessary between classes, but I tried not to be that person who was on their phone in front of students because I just don't think that's right. If you're getting paid to do that, do that. But at lunchtime, I just didn't go to the cafeteria anymore. I just ate in my room, and I, would just post on social media and catch up on my challenge groups and stuff like that. That was my consistency, was every day at the same times you knew where I would be. And I'm saying with social media, be yourself and post 3 to 5 times a day minimum. And I know that feels like a lot. Sometimes even for me today, I'm still like, gosh, that's a lot. What do I say? I mean, especially now that I'm home a lot. So I'm like, what do I say? I'm home. I'm boring. But definitely if you're doing your personal development, you're going to find quotes and things that speak to you. And that's the kind of thing to share. The more you post about it, the better your results are going to be as far as reaching Success Club. Proving to people that you're here for the long run is a big part of building a relationship with them. And that's something that I'm going to get into a little bit later. But when you're building a relationship with people on social media, you're doing it in a way that's a little bit different. You're not talking to them every day one-on-one, but they're expecting something from you. And if you provide the same thing day after day, then that's building a relationship of trust. So of course, I'm sure you guys have seen this, but everybody does it once in a while. Everybody does this where they just go like, oh, well, Beachbody's images are better than mine. So I'm going to post this because Beachbody does such, and they do. I mean, granted, they spend millions of dollars on their marketing, but it's icky when we post it, to be honest with you. And here's the thing. People don't expect you to recreate $1 million advertising campaigns. They don't think that that's normal. Like, we are normal people and we do not do that. So if we put up these posts of these programs that are literally from $1 million advertising campaigns, it looks icky and salesy. Don't do that. It just hurts our credibility. People are kind of like, it almost feels like, if you guys have ever seen it before, I've had a few girls that post stuff from Roden and Fields or It Works or whatever on their timeline. There's nothing personal about it. It just feels like you're reading a sales flyer. And people don't come to Facebook for that. They come to Facebook to connect with other people. So when they're hit with one of those salesy flyers, it's just ick. They don't even pay attention to it. So you can see the example at the bottom is Deidre Penrose. And this is just an example of how you can take PIO and make it personal. So you're talking about the program and you're sharing results. But this is a different type of result, right? It's not just her abs or her arms. I know sometimes people get concerned about sharing that too much skin. But Deidre obviously wanted to get her her legs basically straight up from one another. I don't know how you can do that, but flexibility was clearly her goal with PIO, and it worked. It helped her do that. And so I'm certain that in between this, she was sharing about that and talking about how her flexibility was important to her, and her picture demonstrates the result. And that's important. This is a big one I find with my team. I still work on this. As an English teacher and a former writing instructor, basically, I feel like it's my job to make sure that you write posts clearly. Because if you're wanting to communicate with people what you offer, it can't be like flirting. You just have to be direct, basically. So you can see this post here where it's like, could you do this? Leave a comment below. That's not really clear. And I'm going to say this too. People are often not ready to comment on that and say that they want to be in your challenge group, because a lot of people don't want to put it out in public that they need help with this health and fitness stuff. So they're not going to be like, yes, I want to join your challenge group. They're probably not going to do that. So I always put on my posts the words like, comment, or message me. Every single time, if it's an invite, which I don't do invites every day. I do them like 1 week a month. Basically, I invite to challenge groups. And then 1 week I invite to the coaching opportunity. And that's when I post, like, comment, or message me type language. And if they do that, if they like a post, I'm messaging them, because I feel like they're opening a door, right? Like if I say, if you like, comment, or message me, I will give you more information. And they like it, then they've opened the door. They've asked in their very little private way for more info. And that's something so important. Sometimes people are just going to open the door with a like, and you can't discount that and be like, I don't think I should message them. Message them with just a simple, hey girl, thanks for liking my post. Would you like more information about the challenge? And see what they say. Sometimes you're going to get nothing. Sometimes you're going to get yes. Sometimes you just never know. But don't be afraid to message people if they just like a post. And honestly, when I put up a post about coaching and stuff, if I just share like our progress, the team's progress, I track who likes that. And I keep track of it so that when I'm ready to start talking about coaching again, I know who to start building a relationship with. Those are the people who are interested in what we're doing. So building a relationship with them is going to lead further down the road to them joining the team or maybe a challenge group. So here's another, be loyal to wellness and fitness. I don't see this too often in my team. I don't think my team, but sometimes people will kind of like they'll back themselves up with Beachbody with another product like Tupperware or something, that they're just concerned a little bit that they're not going to make enough income with Beachbody, so they will invest in another business, or they'll start sharing another business on their social media. If you do that, you're gonna see a decline with your success level points and your trust with other people. People are going to think that you're just out there to make money, and that you're not committed to this particular way of helping people. You're not committed to this company. You're not committed to this product. It's not a good way to prove to people that what you're doing is to help them. So I would just say, don't do it. And of course, once you get up to the upper levels above Diamond, basically Diamond and above, you can't really be involved with other MLMs anyway. So if somebody's like, hey, do you want to sell 31 bags? Your answer's got to be kind of like, no, sorry, love you, but I can't, like literally cannot. But even just, posting about that stuff on your Facebook, remember that your Facebook is like your storefront, and whatever you want to do, you want to keep it clean and open for people to understand that what you do is wellness and fitness. This is a big one. Create original content. Man, I cannot say, and I know how hard this is, guys. I know we have so many awesome examples of people who rock out social media that it's so easy to just go and do exactly what they're doing. But when we do that, we take away from ourselves. We don't present ourselves in our real natural state to the world. We're presenting somebody else in our skin. So take your posts and make them yours. So I saw this from Julie Boris, who I really like a lot as someone to follow. And she had this awesome quote about, if you know me based on a year ago, you don't know me at all. My growth game is strong. Allow me to reintroduce myself. And I thought, man, I love that. And I wanted to do it like almost exactly like that, but I was like, I can't steal all that language. It would make me feel icky. And then the post wouldn't do well. So I just took a little bit of it and I worked it back into, and I talked about sort of the same things that Julie talked about in her post about how when you work on yourself with personal development, you're not the same person that you were a year ago, that you've changed so much that people don't even really know you. So I just love that idea. But rather than share Julie's picture or recreate it exactly and use the quotes word for word, I recreated it myself and I wrote it myself. I know it takes more time and it takes practice. And sometimes you'll post something and it won't get any likes. Don't worry about that. It's okay. People are still paying attention. They just don't like everything. It's okay. Don't feel like that's a bad thing. But practice with it. That's just practice. We get better. Stay on Facebook when possible, which means like don't direct people away from it as much as you can. If you're using your blog, then you link your blog to Facebook. They click it. They can read it right there. That's perfect. It's when they have to open it like in a separate Safari window or whatever that you might lose them. People don't like to do that anymore. They want to stay on Facebook. They get Facebook. And then if you, like I said, if you like something, recreate it. Don't do it verbatim. Okay, we okay so far? Everybody still okay? Okay. Post yourself. This is another thing. If you have like Hootsuite or Sendable and you let it post to your wall for you, Facebook shows that. Sometimes, I'm going to say, sometimes that does something to the affinity where it doesn't get the kind of traffic that you would expect that it would. Other times, sometimes people interpret it in kind of funky ways, but I'll say this. I put this note in here, and one of my successful diamonds actually does this because she does her personal development at night and creates her posts in Hootsuite, and then it posts them in the morning for her when she's at work. And those posts get tons of likes. So I think, if you want to prepare a post in advance, put it on your phone in the notes, and then you can copy and paste it, or on a doc on your computer, or put the photo like right there on your desktop so you can just put it right on as soon as you wake up. Like I said, when I did mine, I would go to Pinterest and pull up something that was like speaking to me at that moment, like motivation or inspiration for a particular mood or a particular thought. And that's what I would post. So let yourself be a little in the moment with posting as well. When you take yourself out of the moment and you schedule all of it, it becomes flat. It falls flat. It's not really about you. This is big, right? Build relationships. And I know this is where the hard work gets done, y'all. And this is what is interesting about this, and it took me a little while to learn this, to be honest with you, is that it's invisible. This is the stuff that you guys can't see top coaches doing because they're doing it in private. They're doing it behind the scenes with messaging and email. And because we don't see it, we often don't attribute this to what their success is. But building relationships is what makes top coaches top coaches. They take the time to build relationships with people before they get them as customers or coaches. When you post a link on your page, that's basically like jumping in front of the relationship. I talked about this on my team call, and I said it's kind of like French kissing. Somebody walks up to you and they French kiss you, like as they introduce you. You're like, ew, tongue, no, like I don't know you. That's kind of what I think posting links on your page is like. You're like, hey, let's do this, and people are like, wait, I don't even know you. So you have to build that relationship before you start selling products. That's our job. And I mean, and when we walk away from that, when you take away and you think, I'm not really in the relationship building, this is sales, you will have a harder time reaching Success Club. So on your daily tasks, message 3 to 5 people a day and just reach out, just say something nice to them. And that's where you're going to start building your customer base and your coach base. If you fail to do that, you're going to see it being more of a struggle to find people. I'm going to tell you, from 2.5 years in the business, the months that I don't do that, like October, y'all, OMG, I could not wait for October to end. It was the worst month for me because Sean and I went on vacation, and then I came back and I'd hurt my back really bad. I was not messaging a soul. And October to hit Success Club was a struggle. And I don't usually struggle that much. So I was like, but it was because I was not building relationships all month. I was not doing it. And the whole time I knew I wasn't doing it, but I was like, man, I just don't feel like I'm not in the mood to reach out. So this month I've been on double overtime with it, because it is what fuels the relationship, what fuels the business. So get to know these people. Get to know what they want. Even if they reach out to you, ask them a million questions before you suggest a product. Ask them what their limitations are, what they like, what they don't like, where they've been with fitness, what their goal is. Like, just ask questions. You don't even need the answers all the time, y'all. You just need to get them talking, because that's what's going to build the relationship and their trust in you. And then you can invite them to the challenge group. The process starts, though, with you talking to them about them first. So never, ever, ever forget that this should probably be number 1, not number 7. This is an example. A friend of mine here in town that I really want to join my team at some point. But my blue messages, you guys can see, I started messaging her back before June. But literally, like today, she messaged me because we had a weird coyote incident at my house last weekend. It was very odd. But so she messaged me. She reached out to me today about whether or not there's some, like, a fox or something that had rabies in a town close by. And she was like, that's not you, is it? But I mean, it's weird, right? But I was like, that's a huge win, because since June, I've been reaching out to her and just saying little things like, hey, Carly, I love seeing your big boy on all the po-po stuff. That's like they own the restaurant. He's so cute, and she's like, thanks, his granddad loves him. And like, I know about her dad, he's had cancer, and, just talking about little things back and forth. I'll just find a way to connect with her. My mom's had cancer. So when I saw that her dad had cancer, I reached out and I said, I'm sorry that's going on. I know how that feels. And that's how you build relationships with folks. And this is what's going to lead to long-term business growth. And it's not even just necessarily her. It may not work out with her. She might not ever, join a group with me. But if somebody else is talking about me in a group and she's there, she'll be able to say, oh, I know her. She's a nice girl. Like, genuinely, we talk about stuff. It's not going to be just salesy, and that's important too, I think. Be confident. This is huge, right? I mean, we all have those moments, and I know that this is true. You can't be 100% confident and like, yes, every day, right? Like, this is tough. When you get no's, it's hard. When you're not reaching your goals, it can feel really hard. So be confident in yourself. If you're struggling with that, work on it. People can tell, if you're not 100% sure about a product, or if you really, really feel like Shakeology is too expensive and you don't feel comfortable inviting people to share that with, then they are not going to buy it from you. You're going to get Shakeology objections every time. It is so true. Rid yourself of those beliefs and you will no longer get those objections. It's kind of magical. But when you're struggling with that, I find for sure, a lot of times coaches will recommend personal development that's about business building. And I'm going to put this out there, that I really feel like confidence building is the number one personal development you should be working on, because I feel like it's one of the biggest things that we fight every day. It is not the technical aspects of social media marketing and all that. No, it is literally being able to believe that you can do this. And so whatever it takes to help you believe that, go for it and listen to it and like drown yourself in it. So a few recommendations from me. I loved one of the very first things I ever listened to when I became a coach was The Power of Vulnerability by Brené Brown. She's an awesome author and researcher, and she mixes kind of science and research along with storytelling. And I needed help getting vulnerable. That's the truth. I knew in this business I was have to share my story. I have to talk to people about my experiences. And I'm an introvert, so I needed some help being vulnerable, open, and not feeling like it was scary. So I went for that talk, and it was life-changing, for real. And it's entertaining, truly. It's only available on Audible or as an Audible book. So if you're going to get it as an audio. That's all you can do. It's just like she was speaking and they recorded it. So, but a lot of the same information is available in Daring Greatly. one of her other books, and she has a new book out now called Rising Strong, which I'm loving because it's all about rising after a fall, which I have had a few, so I love it. And then You Are a Badass, if you haven't, that one's kind of really super popular last year. I still love that one. And then if if you've got a faith-based, that's for you, then You're Made for a God-Sized Dream is great. Anything that helps you. I have my Joel Osteen calendar, and I mean, every day I'm like, what can I look at that's going to reassure me that this is the path? Because it's hard. It's tough. So double down on that when you're struggling. Share your progress. This is such a big deal, and I know this is one of the hard parts, but you have to share your own progress. Like I said, last month I was traveling, I was on the road, I was not nearly where I should have been with my progress, so I was not sharing it, and that's another reason why last month was really hard for me. It's just part of the deal. We have to do it. We have to show people we're continually working on it. And so if you've been a coach for like 6 months and you don't have results, people are going to think you're just in it to make money. You have to get the results. You have to work on yourself. So think about it as like, your own results are a huge part of your business. Get in the gym, just do it. Just do it and share it. And it doesn't have to be like, there's 2 examples here. My coach, Shannon, very modest, and then me, not so much. But you don't have to share it the same way all the time. You can find different ways to share it, but share with people what you're doing and how it's helping you. And I will say, like, the thing I'm learning the most now is that sharing about your business progress is huge for attracting coaches. We can't be silent about business progress. So whether it's that it makes you feel really confident that you're working with people and making some income, that you're able to pay your car payment, whatever it is, the little things, anything that you're doing with your business is progress, put that on your social media, share that with people, and it'll be a lot easier to talk about the coaching opportunity. Big one, be in your pictures. You don't have to be in every single one. And God knows I don't put makeup on half the time. So I'm like, if you're going to see my face, it's not going to be makeup, but most of the time I put it on for y'all. But, it's not always like it's a major priority for me, but people follow you for you. They want to see you. They don't follow you for Beachbody. They follow you for you. There's something special about you, your personality, the way that you talk, the way you interact with them. They like that. They want to see you. So be in your pictures. And don't feel like it has to be perfect. Man, for a while I was like, I can't handle this pick monkey stuff, man. I don't have time for that. I do not, and I'm not that creative. I'm not the most creative person in the world. So I'm like, I don't even deal with putting text on photos really much anymore. I just put pictures up because I don't have time. I'm busy, whatever. It's not for me. So don't feel like you have to put text on every picture and, get out there and take a picture of yourself. Put the timer on, get a selfie stick, whatever you got to do. But take a picture of yourself at least once a day. Put a picture of your face up. There's just that interaction with your face. People, if you take a picture of Shakeology by itself, it's not that, unless it's super eye-catching, like, Becca Robinson is so artistic and she's got that eye. You can do that, put that up. But if it's not, you take hold it, do something with your face. Take pictures of meal prep, whatever. Just put yourself in the picture. And don't use stock photos, use yourself. People just relate to it better. And I try to put the dog in the pictures too. I'm like, people like the dog, so I'm going to put the dog in. And I mean, I use filters and all that, but I try not to go too, or I'm like, you're not going to see all my pictures look all the same. I'm a human, I'm an average person. I'm not that artistic. I accept that about myself. And that's me, y'all. You're not going to be perfect. So this is what I like, is clubbers, like people who go to the club all the time. But the behaviors of consistent success clubbers. And this is number one for sure. And it's the same about the business as it is about Success Club. It's not an option not to make it, basically. Not an option. So it will happen monthly. When you make it not an option, your brain starts messaging everybody you can think of to build relationships and start asking to get these points. If we think it's like not a big deal and, it doesn't really matter, then you're not going to try as hard. But when you make it not optional, then you're going to try harder. And remember too, some of the big things like the cruise, $1,000 extra for being in Success Club 10 the whole year. It's like $400 and something extra for being in Success Club 5 all year. It's big financially, and the business growth is huge. I mean, I forget what the statistic was from Summit, but it was like 400% more or something people make if they're in Success Clubs consistently. It's crazy. So it's important. And that those behaviors that you do to get Success Club are done consistently. Don't throw that towel in early, fight to the end of the month. And if you have to ask a friend to buy something to hit Success Club, do it. I've done it, y'all. I mean, it's important, especially if you're trying to reach the goals of Success Club Allstar or Allstar Legend, or you're trying to get the money for the cruise. Don't let the little, momentary lapse of a couple points stop you. Just make it happen. Ask people, get some help. And don't feel like that's a failure on your part. It's always important to just keep moving forward. No matter what, comes your way, just keep moving forward. So that's it for me. I'm going to stop my share. We can come back to here. And then if you guys want to ask me any questions or anything about that, or about teaching. I think so the waitlist thing, my coaches are starting to get off the waitlist. So my understanding is if you hit Success Club in the previous month, you're more likely to get off the waitlist. So that's why it's another good reason to hit Success Club. You're more likely to get off that waitlist and get onto the cruise.
Yeah, every day I'm hearing like another person's getting off the waitlist.
Yeah, it's moving pretty quickly.
Like, how far down are you?
Really far. Like, I get the email and I'm like, yeah, I'm never gonna make
Yeah, like what number?
Like, really far down. I'll look.
Might. I think I saw a post that somebody said that they thought everybody on the wait list might make it if they hit Success Club. Like
I know, like I had somebody that was like a couple thousand down that's on.
Yeah, like 3,000 down. And one of my girls was 3,000 down last month, and then she popped off the wait list this month.
Okay, well, see, now that's reassuring, because I think the last email I got, I'm really way more than 3,000. Here, my October. Yeah, number 11,311.
Hang in there.
Yeah, you would be surprised. And a lot of people also end up canceling. Like Dara, my Success partner, she just canceled her reservation because she's pregnant.
Yeah.
She can't go. So like lots of people end up canceling.
Yeah. One of my coaches is canceling too because she's pregnant.
Yeah, you don't have to be adding 2 coaches to your team each month. No.
Yeah.
Lisa, if you were 6,798, there's a very good chance you're going to be getting on that cruise. Or is she?
Better than me, Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa, you're definitely, well, and my PS coaches, you never know when Megan might throw an incentive out there, because if I'm still single, no, just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding actually, but, so yeah. And that's the other thing with Success Club, guys. And now I know I should probably stop recording saying this, but there's talk on, in corporate world, like where there's a little banter going on that if you are an SC5 All-Star or a Legend, that you're going to be getting priority registration now for the cruises now, or the Success Club trips. Because that's what happened last year. They do it in like a kind of like a seniority order. If you're a top coach, if you're an elite, top coach, premier coach, it goes in that order, and you get on the cruise, and then they open it up to general. Like I literally was like, I had an alarm set on my phone, and I'm like on there, and people were like, they were on there, and they said their computer froze, and I ended up getting them on the wait list, like 3,000. So it's like no joke. You have to be ready to get on that cruise. But now they're talking about people, since it is a Success Club cruise, and that there's so many people that booked for the cruise and aren't even like hitting Success Club, and so many people are ticked off about that and this and that. They're saying, like a lot of people have their cruises paid in full, but they're not even like, they're not able to go on it. They're talking about making it open up to all Success Club. That's another reason you want to hit Success Club. And the bottom line is, guys, is that if you aren't hitting Success Club, you're not getting you're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be getting our products that we know work and change lives into people's hands. If you're not hitting Success Club, you're not doing that. If you're not putting even a point on the board, you're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And that's what we're coaches for. Unless you're a discount coach, like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So unless, that's the only reason you'd have an excuse not to be doing it. You know what I mean? I know that's it might sound harsh to some people coming from me, but I mean, the reality is that like, to me, there's like really no reason that you shouldn't hit Success Club Live because like it's 3 people.
And if you have, I always tell my team too, if you can get 2 points, you can get 10. Like really, you have the skills. If you can get 2 points, you know what to say, you know how to talk to people. You just have to talk to a lot more people, basically. And always remember that, like the numbers are important. So if you want to hit Success Club 10, you just have to talk to more people. That's it. You don't have to convince those people who are saying no or whatever. Just talk to more people. And if you've got 2 points, you can totally get 10. Just duplicate that effort.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Nobody? Okay. I obviously, I did really think it was cool how Carmel said that she keeps track of who is liking her like Beachbody, not even if it's a direct post, but indirect posts related to Beachbody. So like, think about that, guys. Are you tracking? Because I don't do that. Like, I don't do that. Do you track who's like liking your posts when you're drinking Shakeology or whatever, or you like your clean eating posts? Make sure you are tracking who's doing that, because those are people that are interested in a healthy lifestyle or healthy living. I know I don't do that. So there's an example of something for you to be thinking about if you didn't pick up that nugget. And just even like she said, even if those people don't respond when you're like, hey girl, like I saw you like my post about that. Like, that doesn't mean you like cross them off the list. That's like okay, I'm going to circle back to that person some other time.
So I leave it. If I put up, like when I put up a post about the progress and I'm not inviting to anything, if somebody likes it or whatever, then I do start building the relationship more with them. So I'm going to go to their posts and like their photos more and comment. I might message them, I might not. But when I have my next sneak peek, I will totally invite them. Like you've opened.
There's freezer. I do this crap.
Sometimes that's just it. They're afraid, they're scared, whatever. But truly, like Megan says, I feel like follow up with coaching. Sometimes I have to do it a lot more. Like I have to message people a lot more about coaching than I do about challenge groups, but just keep with it. Like I think something like 98% of the people I've ever talked to ended up in a challenge group or on the team. Crazy. We'll come back.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing, like guys, she said, I know like my cousin, for example, she's a Jamboree rep and she should be a Beachbody coach. Like, God bless her heart. Cause she even competed in figure. And I'm like, I know it's like, she would be the perfect freaking, like she's like meant to be a Beachbody coach. It kills me every day. But she wants to do Jamboree. She asked me to host a party for her. I said, absolutely not. I can't. Oh, yeah. I love you. You're my cousin. But I can't be that person. First of all, it annoys the shit out of me when people just stick me in a group, let alone like people say they want to unfriend me for being a Beachbody coach. Like, I'm like, go ahead, because at least I'm not putting you in some random group without asking you. That pisses me off more. I mean, I don't go unfriending people for it, but like, imagine if we did that to people. They'd be like, so when you like start thinking about like, oh, I don't want to invite somebody. Imagine if you were just sticking them into a challenge group. Like, here's my group, buy my challenge pack.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Right? We don't do that to people. With Jamberry does that. The bags, like I was put into a Melaleuca group. I'm like, what the hell is Melaleuca? We don't do that stuff. Like, so remember that when you're inviting, we're so cordial and respectful of people and their privacy, and we're respectful. So just think about that when you're inviting and you get like intimidated. We're so genuine and real people about it. And because I told my cousin, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't host a Jamberry. Like I lose all my freaking credibility.
Yeah. And you can't even, like, you literally can't,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, even though Jamberry has nothing to do with Beachbody, and either does like 31 bags or whatever the heck all those things are, I don't even know. You can't intertwine that stuff, guys, because you're going to mix your signals you're sending to people. They're going to be like, okay, so like what drugs, like, is she trying to make a quick buck or what? Even if you're trying to help out a friend, okay? So just know, right, okay? Yeah, you were probably like I X out of these groups, even like those trade sales. I'm like, I like report them as spam because sometimes I get so annoyed. I'm like, I don't even know this person. Like, how'd they even put me in this group? And last but not least, like, I hope you guys noticed that Carmel talked about things that I talk about all the time that were real with me as a new coach. And like, we still, like, it's very real, guys. Like, you just have to always consistently doing personal development. If you are not doing the personal development, I told you guys I didn't do it the first 6 months as a coach. You, like, the struggle is real. Like, the limiting beliefs, that stuff, it's all normal. Like, what you feel about inviting and dealing with objections and things like that, it's all real. Like, we've all been there and we've all dealt with it. So no, you're not alone, but also know that if you aren't doing personal development, you're not going to be the confident coach. You're never going to be able to carry yourself like that coach that you want to be if you're not doing PD. I will tell you that right now. People signed up with me because they like literally were like, they were like, I know you know what you're doing. Because like I was carrying myself as if I was a top coach before I was like becoming a top coach. And that's what you have to do. I'm not saying to fake it, but I'm saying you have to have confidence in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to get where you want to go. And that's exactly what Carmel was telling you. Like, if you're like feeling down and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this, double up. Like, feed yourself, feed your soul. It's not only going to help you, it's going to help everyone that you're trying to help. It will make a difference. And I know sometimes it's like a pain in the ass, but I'm like, fine, read your 10 minutes or 10 pages or whatever. Then listen to that audio in your car. Listen to your audio when you're doing your makeup. Make extra time. It will make a difference, and you will be thankful that you did it.
That's how I did it too. When I was working full time, I just listened to it in the car. Like I said, I did it hair and makeup. I was listening to personal development in the car on the way to work. And I only had like a 10-minute drive, personal development at lunch, personal development, like even just in the background, anytime that I could. And I still, you guys, I still have to do it a lot because it's hard. I mean, what we do,
yeah.
It's hard, and it's, we push for big goals and we make them. Sometimes we don't. And I mean, the voices are always there. So just know that it's normal to feel that way, and you just have to work through it and focus on personal development that feeds your soul, not the stuff that's like the ins and outs of business building. I don't know about you guys, but that stuff doesn't help me at all. I just am like, I do not care about that. I need help with like just belief.
Right. No, it's funny because like, I'm like, I have not read that much. Like, I just realized like I have not read that much John Maxwell. And it's like, it's not too much into the other stuff.
Yeah, I don't feel the same. I'm like, the tips are good, but I feel like I could get
I know. I did a leadership call and I'm like, I haven't read that much John Maxwell now.
Yeah.
But, and one other thing I did want to ask, because I have had some coaches question me about this in regards to teachers who are on social media. What was your feelings about it? Even with professionals, like how do you feel about sharing on social media? Because I remember even when you and I were in Emerald to Diamond training together, like in regards to sharing progress photos and, like obviously we do before and after photos and bathing suits and stuff. And, friending teachers, like parents of kids, like how did you manage with that and deal with that? Because I'm sure that was a real situation you had to deal with at one point in time.
Yes. Oh gosh, I should share. So I like, part of it was that I decided that this was it. Like, I wasn't going to let other people stop me from doing this business. If that meant that my family would be debt free and my husband wouldn't have need to work 14 hours a day, like, nobody was going to stop me from doing that. That was a big part of it. And I, at first, was scared. I was scared to death to post my first, like, before and after picture. I'll never forget posting it and, like, walking away from the computer like, oh my God, and, like, being certain that I'm going to get fired and all that. But the reality is that I think sometimes as teachers, if you are a teacher or you work in a professional field that's somewhat, like, modest, I would say, people just, there's that expectation or whatever, but people get very worried about social media because they hear horror stories. They hear about those people that get fired or whatever. My advice always is that make sure you know your company's policy, whatever the policy is. I felt very comfortable in showing what I was showing because I was wearing, like, shorts and a babe, or like a sports bra. So I was showing less than the people who go to the beach show when they put their pictures up with their kids. So I felt like, and we have spring break here. And I mean, I had like 20 something teachers that would go to the beach and hang out with these guys that would hang out with these girls at spring break and, like, post all these pictures up with them, like, beers and drinks and, like, early in the morning. So you knew what was going on. And I was like, if they can do that, I can post a before and after picture, because what I'm doing is wholesome and healthy. I'm not posting about my night out on the town with these girls from out of town. I'm doing something healthy and wholesome. So I put that mindset forward, that what I do is healthy and wholesome and good. There's nothing about it that's trying to attract attention from men. There's nothing about it that's trying to attract attention in a negative way. It's to help people. That when I put that out there, it's to help people, to open the door to help people. And every time I would post, that's what I would think. But if you check your policy with your company or your boss or your school district, and then I always feel like if you're not 100% sure, talk to your principal. Ask them what they feel like about it, if you can have that relationship with them. I ended up with my principal in a challenge group, so I was like, it's all good. But
I love it.
I was like, thank God when she did that. But I mean, I had a moment that was the second summer. So I became a coach in September. It was the summer before this past year, my second summer. A parent who I love messaged me, and I do friend parents if I feel like we have, like, contacts in common. I don't usually friend parents if I don't have friends in common with them. But my age, I actually have friends in common with some of these parents. I'm in my 40s now. So I'm actually, like, I actually have, like, similar social circles. So I would friend request them, and I didn't feel bad about it. But one of my parent friends messaged me and sent me a screenshot of a picture that a kid had put up from my Instagram on his Twitter. And he had said something like, mine was something like, you got to tell yourself every day you can do this. And it was me working out and my tummy was showing or whatever. And he posted something like, hey guys, Miss Daly says, we can do this. And you could have read it a million ways, right? You could have looked at it as being sarcastic and mean or not. And for a minute, my skin, like, crawled, my hair stood up. I was like, shit, this is it. Like, this is the moment I've been fearing. And then I had this thing, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to let what matters or what's funny or what crosses the mind of a 16, 17, 18-year-old stop me from building a business that's going to change my life. I ain't doing it. Like, this kid can suck it. I'm not doing it. And truly, I was like, I don't care what this kid thinks, because I'm going to see this kid for a year and then they're going to move on. They're going to go to college, frankly, and they're not even going to remember this whole thing. And their parents at the moment, like, their parents care about you for that year and they really care about the grades. So if you're doing what you should be doing at work, what you do in your free time doesn't matter. And if, like I said, you're posting pictures of yourself in clothing, I mean, you're still in clothing. Like, you're not doing anything wrong. It's completely different from what I think we give the credit for, but you just have to make the decision that nobody's going to stop you from doing this. And especially something that like that, because 16 and 17-year-olds, are they going to pick up those pictures and look at them? Probably. And that was scary for me, like, knowing that they would be able to see my Facebook and my Instagram. It was scary. But I was like, you know what? Get over it, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. And if these kids don't get it, then they don't get it. Moving on.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I was
just really curious about that, because I actually had a coach Right. And Nicole, like you said, it's like, and you're promoting a healthy lifestyle, which like probably half those kids need to be preached about anyways. But
Exactly.
it's like, the thing is, because I just had a coach approach me this week, and guys, like, take note of what she's saying, because like you never know when you're going to attract that coach that's a teacher, and their concern is going to be, well, I'm a teacher. I can't go public on Facebook. I can't friend. I don't want to have like the coach this week had talked to me. I actually told her to reach out to you. I don't know if she did. And I said, she's like, well, I can't, this woman's like telling me she won't be able to take friend requests from, I'd be like, oh man, I'd be like thinking like, oh, this is how I'll expand my market. Like I'll be like with like the kids, like their parents, you know, because it's not like we're promoting anything unhealthy or poor or bad. Now it's another thing, like, cause I was watching on Fox News one night, like a couple weeks ago, like this girl was doing a bikini show, and I'm like, I mean, I competed before, so granted, it isn't the most healthiest way how they get so lean, and we would get so lean for those competitions. But like, there was a teacher on there, and she was posting pictures from her show. Do you know what I'm talking about, Nicole? And she posted pictures on her Instagram of her in her bikini, and those bikinis are pretty dang skimpy. But like, she didn't get fired for that. So that's when I was like, okay, that's crazy, because she didn't get fired for that. She's like, yeah, the parents were upset, and she was like super like, and she was like posing pretty sexy, and like in the gym, like half naked, like, oh, like doing all these provocative poses. But it was like crazy, because really she wasn't like naked. She wasn't like completely out of line, but it was something I could see as a parent getting upset about. But it was just like interesting though.
Well, the difference I think is like a lot of times with that, I do, and like I see that too, because there's younger women here, I guess, who compete in those kinds of things. And I'm not putting a stigma on the competitors.
No, at all, not at all. But like, that's the thing. When I think of that, I'm like, no, you're a beach body coach. If you,
well, I think they kind of want to attract the attention of men. Like that's the thing. Like there's a way of when you're if you're putting out pictures and you're like, man, I hope the young boys are liking these pictures, then obviously you might get parent complaints. You know what I mean? But if you're putting out pictures to be like, I want to
before and after, I'm inspiring a healthy lifestyle.
I want to help women in their 40s find their abs. That's my thought. I'm like, I want to help the women in their 40s find. That's who I want to attract, the women in their 40s. So like, I really don't. And I here's the thing too. I do not friend request men, and I don't accept men's friend requests. I'm like, you are not my market. I am not dealing with you. So
yeah, they all, I'm all like, oh, they all go to follow or default.
I don't. I'm like, no.
Or I deny them. So,
and another way that you can do it too, that some of my, one of my customers or my coaches early on, she created a group. So anybody that she felt was going to be like interested or part of this, and that she didn't want to post her before and after pictures on Facebook or whatever, she would private message them to people. And she created like a group for health and fitness, and she added the people she wanted to in there. And then she would talk about it and share her photos in the group. So you can do it that way to kind of like slow your way into it. But you know, it's your comfort level. And I think there are very many tasteful, modest ways to show progress without bending over and posting. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I've seen some girls, I'm like, that's a lot of boob in the picture. I don't know. And they're not beach body coaches, but like, what are you focusing on in this picture? What is it for? And if it's just, and I know that people get like, so like, well,
no, it's so funny because I'm like talking about this, and we have like our IFBB pro here.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, if you've got like these girls like putting their boobs out,
and our IFBB
like,
pro is like the most Christian, like God-loving woman, and she has like, she's a faithful wife with like a baby boy too. It's the best part ever. But just
you're like, please. But, yeah, it's like, what are you? And I always felt like that too, you guys. I was like, who do I answer to? Me. I answer to me. And I answer to my family and my own self and my God and my family. What do I feel is right and okay? And if I feel like it's a right and okay, and my intention in doing it is good, then I do not care what other people say about it. I'm just not going to worry about it because they don't get it. So I'm not going to worry about it.
Right. Well, any other questions, guys? Super thankful for having you on the call. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing everything with us. Like, so appreciative. And I think that's about it. So
you're welcome. Thanks for having me, y'all.
All right.
Have
All
a
right,
good
guys.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, everybody. I will be posting a hammer and chisel test group. She's from the hammer and chisel test group. She was in the test group, and she was chosen for the infomercial. She's doing a call that's going to be with the Northeast region. It'll be a recording. I'll be on the call, and then I will post the recording next week. Just watch it at your convenience. I'm posting this for you to get the inside scoop on what equipment you need, all the details, so that you will be able to share that with your customers prior to starting your challenge groups. I will be running a coach exclusive challenge group for just coaches. You will not be adding challengers to that. Talk to your PS coach about what group they're running, or running your own group, okay, for your customers. All right, guys, make it a great one. Have a good weekend, okay? Bye.